Hey, it's Rena J.
I'm JJ.
Welcome to our first episode of the Crackers and Cheese podcast.
So we just finished watching episode 9 of season 8, coming back to The Walking Dead after the mid-season break, and we're still trying to process what's going on here. So a lot of stuff actually happened. We're following a lot of the events following the attack of Negan's people on Alexandria, as well as their attack on the kingdom. And wow, so it looks like it's official. Carl
Carl's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's dead. And you know what? I've been saying that Carl's gonna die this season for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's really strange to see him go this way, because I feel like he's throughout the entire series, he's always been a character that's been slowly building up with the experience of everything that's been going on. And he's been learning a lot of lessons, like through his dad and the stuff he went through. Like when Lori died, he went through a big transformation as well.
I knew that he was going to go because I just knew that they couldn't go on with this show without somebody significant dying. And it can't be Rick, because Rick is the main character.
I mean, at the beginning of season 7, it was Glenn that we ended up losing. And that was a pretty big impact for all the characters. I guess we can imagine someone. I feel like Carl was like really core to the group.
Yeah, but I could see him leaving because the show can go on without him, I believe.
I feel like Carl could have been like a really strong, and we're not really going based on anything that's in the comics. Just based on the show. Personally, I feel like Carl. He's like he's like some part of the formula of their group that can represent something that could be more of the future. When he, like, throughout this episode, we've seen a lot about like, now we know that all the it looks like they were flashes to the future of Rick being older and everything being like a lot better. We now know that that's Carl envisioning what he sees the future to be like.
Yeah,
that was just him seeing, like, so everybody, and the big surprise at the end of there was that in his vision of the future, Negan has joined their group, and he is good. Well, he is a part of the community.
I guess maybe it's his vision of like how things should be. So in a perfect world, I guess Negan would be their friend.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's right. The only way for them to be able to overcome what's going on right now with this huge war is if they find a way to compromise and work together.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Yeah, it's clear that there's too much loss. Like this alone, like Carl. Well, it's true that Carl died because of his own action, but it was for the greater good, since he brought back a doctor for the group, which is a pretty big plus, I'd say. But in regards to the whole war that's happening between them, there's no way that they're going to be able to come out of this and be like, hey, let's just be friends and forget about this. Like,
I don't know. Like, I feel like, in the last season, I mean, this entire season really has just been about them trying to take down Negan. I never thought that they could beat him, because still to this day, they've never really seen how much he really has. And I just don't think they can. They don't have enough people. They just can't beat him. So I feel like they're either going to have to join him or just leave and go on somewhere else.
Yeah, it's true. We're not 100% sure how big Negan's group is. Like, we've just seen this, because we know throughout the past couple of seasons that he has many outposts and a lot of information. We've seen how powerful his group actually is in terms of following them in the finale of season 6. They were trying to escape Negan, but they had roadblocks, like, very particularly set up to make sure that they couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So they're very coordinated, and I don't believe that this is all that's left. And we haven't gotten anything from Negan in this episode either. We don't know what's...
Well, he's coming back.
Yeah, they had their trucks and they rode out in episode 8, and we're not sure exactly where they're heading off to. It's
going down, Jonathan. Maggie, she has a cage full of his people in Hilltop.
Yes.
So it's going down.
Yeah, we haven't. He's
not gonna go like I think he's gonna be upset that Carl's dead, because he was saying before that, like, oh my God, Carl's special and all this shit. Like, he wasn't gonna kill Carl, but
yeah, he definitely. I feel like he's gonna be more focused on how this is going to affect Rick, and I think he might use this as his advantage to take like because like Carl was like a big weakness for Rick, and he knew that. And so now I think now he has to see how this is going to change his character and what he's going to do, what he's going to use as a trump card against Rick from this point on.
My prediction before was that like I knew that Carl would die, and I had a gut feeling, but I thought that he would die in a dramatic way, like that Negan would kill him or he would die in combat. And I think that if he died that way, Rick would have been more like, I think he would turn savage if he died in a violent way. But that now that he kind of died by Walker and he died and they had that talk and they were able to like really, he could just tell him his vision of the world. He was telling him all the shit. I think that now maybe Rick might, I don't know, he might not, because I thought that Rick would go crazy. Like I thought that
Yeah,
if he died in a,
absolutely.
if I think that if Carl died in a crazy way, I feel like Rick would go crazy, kind of
Yeah,
like how he
well,
went crazy when Lori died.
yeah, we had a lot of very small instances of Rick kind of losing himself a little bit when he was on the verge of losing Carl. When Negan had them all on their knees that one time at episode 1 of season 7, he took Carl and he said like, I want you to cut off his arm.
Yeah.
And Rick looked like he seriously wouldn't be able to do it. It looked like his spirit was completely broken when Negan came back
And
to
Negan
his ear,
saw
and he
that
was
that was
like,
his weakness.
"Listen," he's like, "You're gonna listen to me." Like it was like he was just saying like, "Okay, I found what's going to break you, and I'm not going to throw it out away in this situation."
No.
And again, touching back with Rick, like the season before that, they had the group of people that attacked Rick and Carl, and they had the guy that was about to rape Carl. Rick was
Rick went crazy.
Rick was being held back, and then the guy was saying like, "There's nothing you can do. You're gonna have to sit back and watch this." He's like, "Huh? What are you gonna do about it?" And Rick literally bit the guy's throat out.
Yeah. That was like the rawest, one of the rawest things that I think they
it's
ever showed
true.
on the
It's,
show.
it's like you ask yourself, like as like a father, like how far are you really gonna go to try to protect your son from having to go through something like that? And that's really like
That was real. To me, that was really real.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I was like, oh, this is crazy. But I was like, you know what? That is mad realistic.
yeah, definitely one of the realest moments of the show, in my opinion. But it also shows just how important Carl is to Rick. So now that I feel like this is the most calm way that it could have went. It could have been
Yeah.
way uglier.
Yo, if they killed Carl off in a violent way, Rick would have been lost.
Yes, absolutely.
It would have been insane.
But looking at what he has now, the only thing like blood wise that Rick has left is Judith. And
Blood? Jesus
yeah.
isn't his. But anyway, yeah. Yeah.
Well, as far as he wants to take it. So
Negan's not going to kill Judith. Judith is a little girl. Like, that would be like a new low. He's not going to kill this baby.
yeah, that's another thing.
I
Actually,
don't think he would ever go there.
Earlier this season, we learned a lot more about what Negan's perspective is on this whole thing, and we see how the people see him. Like he actually does care about people. He has a community of people that he's not treating poorly. In fact, they are happy to have him. And it's really just the direction that he's taking things to protect what he has.
Yeah.
And to have people that would be able to work with him. The only reason why he's being so hard on Rick and his group is because they attacked his outpost immediately.
Well, yeah, they
And
killed his people. They killed
yeah.
a lot of his people.
Yeah,
so
they've
he's not
been
gonna, like,
they've been
just
very
take
hostile
that.
to him. That's the only reason why, as watching this show, Negan looks like such a strong antagonist is just because like we started off on the wrong side of the fence from the get go.
Yeah.
It's
Because
true.
we're on like Rick's and them side from the beginning of the show. So no matter what, like, you know, we're always gonna be like, oh, we're on their side. Anyone who's against them, or we're against them too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
He's just like them. He's got his own people. He's got his own stuff to care about, and they're against him. So if someone's trying to kill you and someone's trying to take your shit, well, they're not really doing that. But you know what I mean? Like they're trying to kill them. Really, they're trying to take them out. You're obviously gonna fight back. They're not gonna just sit there and let them do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know
All
what I
right.
mean? And they have a lot to lose.
All right. Well, let's get into the details
Of the
more
episode
of the
itself?
episode itself.
Okay,
So-
so it started off. It first started off with a vision into the future where we saw Rick as an older man, and then the Sadiq was there, which I was in the beginning kind of confused. I'm like, why is Sadiq there with Judith, and then that guy with the
Yes,
armor?
that was pretty much. It was starting to piece together a lot differently as we were starting to see that there were some altercations that were happening from the very beginning. Like when we first saw that vision, which was at the beginning of season 8, Carl was seen with Michonne in that vision. He wasn't that much older. Judith was, and so it was just really,
Yo,
really
I don't
odd
even
to me.
remember that.
I feel like that was pretty much showing that this really is from Carl's perspective. Like we didn't see himself older, but everybody else kind of was.
Right. Okay, I didn't even really take in that this is Carl's vision. But okay,
So
so
yeah,
after that, we pretty much saw. So we saw how Carl got bit, which is when he was pretty much getting Sadiq in the
yes,
forest,
yes,
and
he
then
was
they ran
working with
into all
him.
those walkers. That whole scene pissed me off. Like last season, not last season, but like the last episode or whatever, when he found Sadiq and that whole Walker situation was happening. I was like, God damn it, Carl! You literally like you go to find this guy, and then now all of a sudden you get into this situation. You
Yeah,
know,
it
it's
was.
totally unnecessary.
Yeah, out of context, it really looked like Carl was being careless, which was really strange to see. Cause like seeing how his character is, like all of a sudden he's just like, oh, I don't care. Like I'm willing to go this far for this random guy, but now we know the context that he actually is valuable for the
Yeah.
group. He's a
A-
doctor.
And it's interesting that he turned out being a doctor. 'Cause we didn't know he was a doctor until this episode.
Yeah, I mean the whole group didn't know he was a doctor, but Carl did know
But
apparently
he didn't know when he was picking him up in the forest, though.
initially. But we did see that they've have grown some form of relationship. They
Yeah.
talked, and we don't know how much they
After.
talked.
But after. So my point is, it was after he got bit. You know what I mean? Like he got bit in the forest. He was like, "Oh, come with us, whatever." And then they got bit, and then they showed that after that he started writing letters. He's bonding with Sadiq and whatever. He must have told him then. So he had I feel like Carl had like an act of faith by like going and seeking this dude like out of because they got him at the gas station, and then Rick was just like cold as hell. He was just like, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And he went back like he felt bad. You know what I mean? He went
Yeah,
back.
Carl made a reference to that one time that he ran into somebody in the public in the forest, and instead of trying to help him out or try to at least figure out who he was, he just shot him dead right away.
Instantly. Rick is so savage, yo. He just shot him. I remember that. um, yeah, no. So so this episode pretty much was going through in the beginning at least, was just going through the day of Negan's attack. What was going on? I guess while Rick was with the garbage people. We call them the garbage people because we don't know what to call them.
Yeah, I don't know.
The people that live in the dumpsters, the garbage people, the weirdos. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have. Yeah, actually,
That's what was going on while they were going and attacking Negan's place. Carl was out with Sadiq doing all that, getting bit, whatever. And so then we saw how Morgan was stationed and like spying on them, and then they
yes,
were
that's how they got the intel that they were on the way because they were clearing out the walkers, and also it also shows us a little more again how Negan's group of the saviors have a lot do have their own form of intel. Like they knew Morgan was watching them, and as soon as they had a vantage point from the walkers, they fired at him immediately.
yeah. I don't care what anybody says, they're not gonna beat Negan's people. They're just not. They're not.
It does. I mean, well, it does seem like it's a very difficult feat. Well, I feel like with this whole attack that's happening on them, we're going to learn a lot more about how how much power he actually has.
Yeah.
It does seem like his even these groups that are immediately at the sanctuary are clearly very skillful, and he has like a lot of people that are working just as people that are just living there, like they're not even fighters. Like we don't even know what happened to them. Like they were talking about like moving them. I think they talked about moving everybody to the kingdom. We don't know exactly how far that's progressed because we haven't seen anything going on with Negan himself in this episode, but we do. But it's very clear that they're very organized with their people.
They're mad organized, and the fact that we don't see Negan now, like I mean, this is pretty much all happening the same day. What we're watching is like the night of. the burning down of Alexandria.
Yes.
But so I'm sure that Negan is like planning the next day, which is probably going to involve him going to the hilltop to confront, because they're not stupid. They're going to know they have the kingdom. They burned down Alexandria. Where else are these people going to go? They're definitely going to hilltop. So Negan's probably going to show up at hilltop, find his prisoners, and do all of that. So Morgan escapes, and then he ends up going to the kingdom where he meets up with Carol.
Yes, there's a pretty big focus on Morgan this episode actually, because as we know, he's not really for having hostages. When who was it that decided to save him? Jesus. Jesus decided to save a bunch of the saviors and take them back to Hilltop.
Stupid.
And Morgan immediately was like, "This is not a good idea." In fact, he didn't even say anything. He was about to just go and kill them.
It was a terrible idea.
They held him back, and he was not a part of it. And now Morgan is out on his own. He ended up running into Carol to meet up with her, but he was still in his single mindset, which was they're all going to die. So he was killing.
Morgan's turning into like a mini serial killer.
Yeah, but at the same time, he seems very organized, in my opinion. He seems to like he executes all of his plans very, very prestigiously. Even in that one instance, he was with Carol, and there was a few people that were packing things up. They were packing things up and leaving with a pickup truck, and they could have just continued to do their scouting, but instead he did go, and she said to him, like, you don't have to do this, like, we don't have to kill them, like, let's just keep going. But he went and killed them anyways, and in fact he knew that he was going to be outnumbered, but he did it anyways, expecting Carol to back him up.
Yeah, I don't know if that was very smart, because what if Carol just so happy? Of course, she's gonna go behind him. She's not gonna let him go guns blazing without seeing what happens.
I feel like that was
really risky.
It was an immediate judge of character by him, and I feel like it was a very smart move in the fact that he knew that Carol's the type of person that would help him out. She wouldn't leave him. She would back him up right away. But that's also a form of dominance that he's showing in this. When he's going to be in a situation, here's where this is going to backfire. He's going to be in a situation where he's going to expect people to back him up when he makes a decision like this, and they're not going to.
That's what I'm saying. Not everybody's like Carol. You know what I mean? Or not everyone's as skilled as her. Some people, when they shoot, they miss. You know what I mean?
But the problem with people like Carol and the people, which is, I would group her with like Jesus, for example, very, very useful, very resourceful, knows how to make the right decisions, and they'll help out even if somebody on their side decides to make a wrong decision. The only character still, actually, in my opinion, from their side of the group that hasn't... there's only been a few, but the strongest one, I just can't help but not forget about him, is Shane. Shane was the only one from Season 1 and Season 2 to have a different point of view and actually execute his own plan and have people not follow with him, or he wouldn't follow with what other people are doing, like in a very dramatic way. And it did end up in him getting killed. And I feel like that's going to ultimately happen to Morgan as well.
Well, Morgan has no problem being on his own. He was on his own for the longest time. And then they found him, remember? Like, he was off. Waiting for Rick.
He's definitely like a lone wolf survivor.
Yeah, like, he'll be fine. I feel like he's just going crazy right now. And I feel like he's losing his way a bit. And
he has a lot of emotion built up with everything that's been going on so far.
But at the same time, like, I feel like he's a little crazy. And they might not be able to... I feel like, okay, there's a strong possibility that Rick might want to stop the fight with Negan now that Carl died. And I feel like maybe Morgan and maybe even, like, Daryl, they might not be with that. They might be like, no, fuck you. We're going to fucking go against Negan. And... we don't care because we need to kill him because they killed all our people because they have nobody.
Yeah, I do.
You know what I mean?
I do think that he's going to be a bit of a problem because if you remember, we can go back a couple seasons now and think about what Morgan did. Remember when there was that one guy from the Wolves, the group of people that had the W's written on their heads, and instead of just letting the guy go or killing him, he locked him into a basement and he started interrogating and trying to change his ways. And in fact, he was fighting Carol
Yeah, he almost
to
killed her.
try to make her not stop him.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
he's very passionate about his views on like how he wants to do life, and that was back when he was trying to save people's
Yeah, he
lives.
was like, we don't have to kill, and he was doing whatever with the stick.
Yeah, but now what's on the opposite side of the spectrum? Now he's trying to kill people, and how far is he willing to go to continue to do what he wants to do? Maybe he'll actually end up killing somebody that he does care
He
about.
probably will, Jonathan. He's not stable. He's not even just that. They were just there trying to. He was chasing after that last guy at the church or whatever,
Mhm.
and like he was crying and stuff, being all emotional with it. And we're like, God damn it, you just killed like 20 people, and all of a sudden this guy, you can't like. He has problems, Jonathan.
Yeah,
He has
definitely.
issues.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, he's very emotional,
He's got issues.
and it looks like it's been building up. We saw that from the very beginning, like back in the beginning of season 5, I think it was, when we finally got reintroduced to Morgan, and he was still in the same house. He set up all the traps around. He was very emotional even at that moment. Like he met Rick again, and he was saying to him, like, "You told me that you would be on the radio at this time every morning, but you weren't there." And he was like, he was still traumatized.
Yeah.
So it looked like his character had a lot of flaws in how he should handle things emotionally, like from the very beginning. And he was like in a totally different state. I might remember he was focused on well, what was the word he was using?
I forgot.
Um,
I forgot.
it wasn't clear. That was the bikers. He was saying something along the lines of making sure things are secure or something like that.
Yeah, he was acting kooky. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
he's kind
he's a
of
kooky
been.
guy. Like honestly, from the beginning, he has always been weird.
Yeah, so I
Um,
feel like we're gonna see how this is going to, how they're going to work with this moving forward. Once this is, they find a way to settle down on the situation, which I don't know when that's gonna be. I think it might even be right now because everybody's in the sewers and they're trying to
they're going
move
to
on.
Hilltop. I
Yeah,
think that you never know. Carol could kill him. Cause Carol, you know what, Carol, I know you know how she is. She means business.
yeah,
When she
Carol.
sees that someone's gonna be a problem, she eliminates the problem before anybody knows there even was a
Yeah,
problem.
we're
You
never
know what
gonna
I
forget
mean?
that one moment with Carol and the two little girls. She
It
saw
was like
that there
three
were a
seasons ago
problem,
when they left the
and
prison.
instead, yeah, I still can't believe that actually happened.
But you know what?
She
I
killed the
wasn't mad at
girls.
her when she killed that little girl. I was like, that girl was gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it
And
was very
Carol was
clear.
like, there's nothing I can do to fix that.
It's just about like people need to know how to properly correct her, but I don't think that there was any time or effort that can be put to give her the proper guidance to put her in the right path. So she saw the most optimal decision was to kill the little girl, and that's what she did.
Yeah, but I feel like but the thing is, Morgan's a good fighter, and it would be bad to lose him as a fighter because
Yeah,
right now they're low on numbers. So I
but
don't know if she would kill him now, but if he becomes to be like a huge problem,
but it's very
she'll eliminate
interesting.
him.
It is very interesting to see Carol's interactions with Morgan because she's been through his craziness for seasons now. She's witnessing all of the different emotions and stuff that he's going through, from trying to save others, having following the art of battle with that book that he reads with his fighting style, and now flipping a switch to just killing everybody. We noticed every single person he made sure that they were dead. He would stab them in the head once they hit the ground.
I know, like he was going
So he
extra.
was just
That's
making
why I knew
sure.
something was wrong with him because I was like,
Yeah,
why is he being so extra right now?
yeah, it's interesting.
Like he's definitely a little weird. So they saved Ezekiel pretty much.
Yeah, they're definitely doing like an incredible job with all the diversions that they were doing. And I couldn't see them. I was really surprised to think that only two of them were able to make that much of an impact. They literally took out pretty much everyone that was in their way.
Carol's a G. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
So I'm not surprised that they were able to do that. But so I'm guessing that now they're heading to Hilltop. And then Daryl and the rest of them from the sewer, they're definitely going to Hilltop.
Yeah, they are as well.
Maggie's at Hilltop with Jesus.
So
and
we're gonna
and those
have
other
a
people.
So yeah, if I were to predict where
Be a
this is
party
gonna
at the
go from
Hilltop.
here, yeah, everyone's going to reunite at Hilltop. They're going to get their information together.
They're gonna mourn Carl. It's gonna be a big moment when they find out that Carl's gone.
Yes, but I feel okay. If we're going to prediction time now, I'm thinking where they're going to go from here, I don't think that they're going to be given the time to be able to get themselves together.
No, because this will happen. We saw the episode, okay? We see that Michonne and Rick buried Carl. It was the next day,
Yeah.
meaning the morning after.
Yes.
So they're probably going to go back to Hilltop, and I'm sure the Negan's got plans. Negan's probably going to come, roll up on them, come there and do the next phase of the eliminate fucking Rick's people.
Yeah.
And so it's going to keep going. And he's because he knows, he doesn't know that Carl died, but he knows that he burned down Alexandria. He knows that Kingdom's gone. He knows that all their people have wiped out. So now he's about to go there, and he's going to go and literally do the last move to literally get rid of
If
him.
there's one thing that we know about the Walking Dead series is that they never leave like a timeline like open. Like they always, like we've seen throughout just this season alone, the every single episode has been just placing the pieces together throughout just one day. And now we see a big jump from nighttime to dawn. And where Rick and sorry, what's her name? Michonne. Rick and Michonne are going to be on their way now to Hilltop. Who knows? Maybe all those people that are heading there right now, maybe they've gone through something.
They
on the
probably
way there.
did, because guess what? Negan's people were in Kingdom. They were supposed to bring Ezekiel to Negan. And they had a whole bunch of people that Carol and Morgan just killed. And they used walkie-talkies. So don't you think that Negan already knows that something happened at Kingdom? He's probably thinking, where the hell is Ezekiel?
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
it's very clear that they're keeping information together. I think that it's very possible that for example, when that guy was radioing the people in the vicinity of the Kingdom, like, where are you guys? And then he realized they're all dead. They're like, okay, something's going on. So they, as soon as they heard the gunshots, they made their way down to the church, and it's very possible that he could have relayed information right there and then to Negan's group to say something's going down.
Jonathan, Negan knows everything. He probably already knows that something happened at Kingdom. He always knows, okay? There were so many people there, they definitely had a way of telling him. Or they were probably supposed to meet somewhere at a certain time and they weren't there, so they knew that something's up. They know something's up, 100%. So tomorrow or today, right now, it's the morning of the next day, I'm sure that Negan's like, okay, we got to do something else because things haven't gone the way they're supposed to go. So I think that my prediction for the next episode is that Negan's going to be in the episode 1 and something is going down at Hilltop.
Yeah, so no matter what, I think that something is going to be going down at Hilltop, or at least getting towards Hilltop at least. Because there's a lot of things going on right now, and it's pretty much everyone's going to have to meet up somewhere. The only people that are going to be going from the Kingdom to Hilltop are just
And Morgan and Carol and Ezekiel.
yeah.
But no, and of course, Michonne and Rick are going. I think that Negan's gonna be in this episode, and I think that it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of conflict. I think it's going to happen near immediately. I don't think there's going to be much time for them to sit around and try to figure out what they're going to do. This might be a situation where they're going to get rolled on, maybe even already surrounded, because we know that they make tactical decisions in terms of waiting for them to be settled and then ambushing. This happened before. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I don't think there's time for the action to die down at this point.
No.
I think maybe this time alone that they've had sitting in the sewer throughout this entire episode from the Alexandria, may be the only break that they're going to get.
No, and they're definitely they don't have a lot of power anymore, Jonathan. They don't have anything anymore, so they can't even fight anymore. I don't think they can fight anymore. There's no way. They're done with the fighting. Negan won this one. And so now we're just going to see, where do we go from here? It's either they leave or they join. It's either beat him or join, and they didn't beat him. So they're either going to have to join Negan and obey, or they're going to have to just leave. And I don't think that Negan's going to let them leave.
Yeah, that's a discussion that we're going to continue to have as we
I don't think Negan's going to let him go.
But
after all the shit they did.
there's no the piece that Carl wants between the two of them is most definitely not going to happen, at least not with even more bloodshed. So we're going to find out as we go forward.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So this episode was called Honor. And while they were in the sewer before everyone left for Hilltop, Sadiq went to Carl and he said, I will honor you. I can honor you. That is interesting. He said, I'm going to honor you. Because he knows that if it wasn't, for Carl, one, he'd be alone, probably dead or close to it. And also, Carl's dying. I don't want to say because of him, but the whole situation. They say everything happens for a reason. They need a doctor right now. He's a doctor. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this whole episode is called Honor. And I think it has a lot to do with what Carl was saying to Rick at the end, about the man he is and why Rick does what he does, and even mentioning that he shot the kid at the prison. I remember that. That was savage. But it all just, I don't know, I just feel like it's just going to say, like, what type of man Rick is and what's going to happen going forward kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think that we're going to see a lot. There's going to be a very significant change in the way Rick is going to be carrying himself.
I think
now.
so too.
And it's really just showing, like, where does Rick want to put, like, the most weight of his his care, I guess, like where, like what matters the most to him at this point, because it's very clear that it was Carl for like the past few seasons, but now that Carl's gone, we're gonna see what he's gonna adjust that to. Is he gonna just move towards Judith, or is he going to start to rationalize what matters, like more outwards? To maybe he'll think more about the community, maybe he'll think more about just himself, maybe he'll think about building something even newer. And I think that's what he was trying to say. He said he wants to make Carl's dream true. That was the last thing that happened at the end of the episode. He was saying, like, your vision, I'm going to make it real, I promise.
So maybe, like, going forward, it's going to be, like, honoring Carl, What would Carl want, you know, kind of thing? Because he wrote letters to everyone. God knows what he wrote. Like, maybe he wrote in his letters, like, oh, this is my vision, and maybe everyone's gonna be like, he wrote a letter for everybody, and so what is said in those letters, right? Maybe he's outlining Junior's here. Maybe he's outlining, what he wants the world to look like.
I guess we'll learn more about that in the next episodes.
So let's wrap it up.
So we would love to hear what you guys think. If you have any ideas on like where you think the show's gonna go from here, just leave a comment. If you like this discussion, leave us a like so we know what's going on, and feel free to subscribe for more rambling and analyzing our breakdowns of these episodes.
Yeah, and so stay tuned to the next episode where we're going to talk about This Is Us Season 2 Episode 15, or coming back from their mid-season break. And next week we'll talk again about The Walking Dead next Sunday. Stay tuned and see you guys next time.
Bye.